G'day guys, welcome back to Supercoach with DR and welcome to the round 20 review. Hope you all had a rip every week yourself. And I tell you what, I had an absolute top weekend and it was all due to one amazing little boy, only 8 years old, little Charlie. Oh, look, it's a long story. I want to do a separate video and share this fella's story because he's just the most amazing kid you ever meet. But long story short, Charlie had raised some money for a family in Victoria to attend the football, have a really great experience, a Brisbane Lions family, and luckily enough, we all selected. Just words can't describe, what this experience was. We got put up at Brady Hotel. Thank you very much. Awesome host there. Got tickets to the aquarium, and then we got level 2 seats at the AFL members, a 2-course dinner. It was just absolutely sublime. Match-worn jerseys, scarves, hats, flags, everything you could think of. So it was just an amazing experience, as I said. I won't say too much more because I really do want to share this special story. He's the most amazing kid I've ever met in my life, an absolute hero of mine after the weekend. He's done so much more than this. So as I said, it's a big story to tell, and I'm really keen to tell it with Charlie as well. His parents, thank you very much, most beautiful people you'd ever hope to meet, along with their family, friends who donated stuff to my boys and to Charlie himself. It was just a fantastic experience. Apart from the result, we were 7 goals up, we were celebrating. Oh, but I tell you what, disappointing in the end, but yeah, the experiences itself was just terrific and made lifelong friends as well, which was the best of all. But in saying that, I didn't watch a heap of football. I did obviously watch the Brisbane Tigers game from level 2. Best view you ever get in your life. I could get used to that. But yeah, I'll be down to level 1 or 3 in the next one, I think. But yeah, it was one of those weekends where sometimes you think you just got to put family first. So went to the city with the family and just enjoyed their company. Instead of watching the footy, watched the movie Red Dog, it was. Got to admit, actually shed a tear. It was an emotional movie. So, yeah, how's that? I'm crying over a dog movie instead of watching the footy. But it is what it is. Sometimes you've got to do these things, and really enjoyed myself with the family for the weekend anyway. But look, back to the football, back to the Supercoach while we're here. 23.81. Again, down 79 spots. These red arrows are absolutely killing me. I didn't keep up with much football, as I said, at all on the weekend, so I won't be able to give you a good idea behind why certain players scored as they did. A couple I will be able to obviously give you a little bit of knowledge about. But yeah, the season rank now is outside 2,500. Super disappointing. That charge towards the top K just never really happened. I got pretty close to the top 2K. I think I was almost on 2K. But then just slowly, just been going down. But I've got 2 trades in the bank, and I'm actually going to use one this week as a little bit of a luxury. So, yeah, I'll tell you what I'm doing in a minute. But look, yeah, pretty much it for the intro. I'm not wrapped with where things are at, but I do have a couple in the bank. Let's see where we're going right and where we're going wrong. Now, the first thing you'll probably notice is that I do only have the 2 trades in the bank now. Did use 2 last week, so George Hewitt had to go out. Don't know what's happening with his back, and I thought, well, that's just going to be the second week in a row. Just needs to upgrade, and I thought the time was perfect to get this man Tom Stewart in because he'd come back after his 4-week layoff, and I thought playing the Dogs, really looking good last time before he went out. Surely you've got to get him in this week, and he didn't disappoint with 112. You want to see a 120 plus from Stewart first off, but with some of the other scores he's thrown defence this week, that's fine. That's absolutely fine for me. So wrapped to have Stewart in the side. And I think I mentioned that I got Clark out for Cully as well, which just made sense to me given the fact that Clark was just dead wood. So back to the defence. So Sinclair, 102. Stewart, as I mentioned, 112. Sis, 93. Doherty, 91. Yeah, all okay. You know, Sicily, he's been a little bit up and down, hasn't he? Really want to see one of those ceiling games to make up for some of these 90s he's had lately. Certainly think that he's got it in him. Will he in the next 3 rounds? I'm not too sure. But if he does, if you're looking for overall points, and that should make up some of these 90s, if you can go 140, for example. Doherty's been pretty disappointing, hasn't he? Another 91. Yeah, I don't know. He's not the worst. I'll talk about the worst in a sec when I get the next 2. So, look, I'm not too worried about owning a Sam Doherty when you've got 2 players here in Short and Crisp who are just stinking up at the moment. So I was obviously at the game and keeping a pretty keen eye on Shorty. He was everywhere, so he was back for a little while, then midfield, then up forward, snags a goal. I'm like, oh, well, Supercoach points, here we go. That's all good, because at this stage, we're still killing the Tigers. But it was just a nothing game from him. 74. He was played everywhere. Yeah, just such an inconsistent role. I don't even know what to say with the pick anymore. I really, really want out. But in saying that, he's got a much better, and when I say much better, I'm talking about 10 points here. 5-round average in this man, Jack Crisp. I think that Short's mid-80s and this bloke's in the 70s. Crisp, it's just terrible. 443k, another 60. It just hurts, you know. What do you do with this bloke? I'm pretty likely to get rid of one of these blokes this week. I've got to get rid of one of them. I've got 2 trades in the bank. Look, I could just be really safe. I'm in a couple of cash leagues, but you know, I've made it through to the finals, both those finals, which pretty lucky to do. So I'm not necessarily needing to do a trade this week, but I'm always chasing for those overall points and want to get the best finishing position as possible. So I think I'm going to burn one this week as a luxury. But I think the player that I'll get in, looks to be set for a pretty good couple of weeks, I think. You never know what can happen, though. But, one in Crispy or Short will probably go for me this week. Dirksen, I don't even know why I had him on, because this is the other thing last week was that it was really early for my loops. It was weird for my loops, so I just couldn't go with one of those later vice captains. Ideally, I wanted to go Took into Zeret, but I just didn't have anyone that I could do it with, so I had to go on the Friday night, or was it the Thursday night, whatever the first game was, with Oliver. It was either him or Petrarca, and I was actually watching the start on KO, and someone mentioned that Longmuir had said, yep, Aisha's going to go straight to Oliver. I'm like, oh crap. Went back onto the Supercoach app, tried to change over the VC to track, and it wouldn't let me. I was just out of time because KO was a little bit behind, so I was spewing with that. But it is what it is. End up getting a great captaincy score with Zeret. I'm pretty sure over the last 5 weeks, his lowest score has been like a 133, I'm going to say. I might be exaggerating a little bit there, but I'm pretty sure that's close to accurate. He's just been phenomenal. From a couple of 90s, you're thinking, a bit of a dud pick, but, M8, it happens sometimes. To being the hottest player in Supercoach, basically. He has just been amazing, this bloke. And after his pretty slow first half, to come back like he did, hats off to the man. He's really hurting you this week. And if you look at my midfield as a whole here, the way they've scored, it's been one of those weeks where not having Laird hasn't hurt me that much, because just say my Zeret, Brayshaw, maybe Track over Laird. Yeah, I've only lost out a few points there, so that was another real positive this week. But Zeret just continues to dominate, and captaincy or vice captaincy option each week, I think. A Lockie Neal, I actually thought this was better than a 110. I thought it was probably an average game for him, which is around a 125. But over 30 touches, the 5 tackles. I'm not too sure why. Maybe it was disposal efficiency. It was a solid game from Neal, but when it comes to having him in your captaincy loop, maybe one to stay clear of and look at your Zerets, your Millers, your Laird types if you got them, I think. Track really bounced back. Heard him mention, I don't know if it was on a radio interview, I think it might have been last week, that he said, look, players, such as myself, we really, really need to step up. And he certainly did that. He really dominated this game. 134 points. I wouldn't call him a pod, but he's certainly not a common player in lots of the matchups that I'm facing anyway in my leagues. It may just be, just an anomaly. I'm not too sure. But, I was rapt to have him this week. And it's a bit of a mixed bag, isn't he? He's going to go 130 plus maybe one week and then down to a high 80s, low 90s type score, possibly the next. But, I suppose those really big ceiling games do balance out those low 90 type scores. So, all good owning Track at the moment. Really pleased. Jack McRae, I must admit I'm not overly pleased owning him at the moment. He's just a bit of a nothing pick. 82. There's just so many dogs in there at the moment. None of them scored overly well over the weekend. But, looking into next year, I'm not sure if I'll start McRae or not. His price will be at a much friendlier price point than previous seasons. But, maybe I'm just going to avoid him and see how he goes and jump on if I have to, I think. Brayshaw, again, this man played a phenomenal game. Really, really stepped up. 138 points. And him, along with the other sort of poddish selections that I've got, just really, gave me a just below par score this week. If it wasn't for blokes like Brayshaw, would have been really staring down the barrel. So, wrap for him. And Cripper, where has this come from? I was saying, look, chop him if you can. If you got the luxury, just move him on. Is it a direct correlation with Hewitt? I'm not too sure. But, 146 points. I did hear somewhere that it was a career high for disposals. I think it was 41. Couldn't tell you too much about his game, but 146 points. Bad luck if you've traded him out, because if I had enough trades in the bank, then I certainly would have made the move. But in saying that, I would have got a Rory Laird in, and that would have been a much better move at the time. But owning him at the moment is not near as scary as what it was a fortnight ago. Cogs, this was a laid out, so, a bit of a frustrating one for owners, so it sort of stuffed my score up a little bit this week. I'll tell you why in a sec, but hopefully he's back this week, not too sure. Owens came in, he would have been a saviour for some people. 67, that's pretty solid, so hopefully he can keep his spot. I'm not too sure, but if he can, he'll be really handy coverage in the midfield for us. Arioli, 6, the ultimate sub, didn't do much. The Rucks, just disappointing each week. Darcy with a 92. I don't think we're going to see that ceiling game. That's really why I purchased him. I thought he's got a couple in him at least. When I look back at his history last year, I thought surely things have got to click for him, but things just haven't, unfortunately. A 92. It's not a disaster, but it's certainly not what I paid up for Darcy for. And Wits as well. Well, I actually got out of this pick. I made the right move getting Nank out, but then I got spooked when Nank hurt his knee with that low score. I thought I'll just go back with the crowd with Wits, and I shouldn't have done. I should have looked elsewhere. My gut said not to go with Wits, but it was one of those things where I thought if he really does get back to that form, that really good form that we've seen, early to mid-year, being owned by 90% of the top 5K, it's really going to hurt me. So I thought I'd just play it safe there, and that was a bit of a bad move. But most of us have got him anyway in the top 5K. Teakle didn't play. And then this is the move that hurt me. So normally Cogs would be on field, and normally McCartan. See, this is what happens, The only weeks it seems like I don't actually have McCartan on the field, this is when he scores decently. So, best score in a while with that 75. Apart from the 100, where again, I think that was maybe a month ago, I didn't have him on field. So really frustrating. Looking at Cully's average for the first two, it just seemed like a bit of a no-brainer to have him on, because remember, I can't really loop here. I was thinking maybe a Rioli loop. Cogs was too early to loop with any of them, so things just didn't work out. I had to choose one of the three, McCartan, Roses or Cully, and I went with Cully in the end, and that was just super unlucky. Not sure what happened. I heard he injured his hammy, so he'll be a loop, I suppose, which is frustrating. The Bond actually looked a little bit sore. I did watch parts of this game, as I mentioned, so is he going to be right for this week? I think that he will be. I think he'll soldier on, but maybe those 160 type games that we've seen in the last couple, apart from last week, not too sure if we'll see them for the rest of the season, but he's a great man. Hopefully he'll bounce back. I did have a really solid first half as well. Super damaging in the first quarter. Parker, amazing game from him. We've been asking for this for a little while now, giving us those 90s, 80s, maybe just reaching 100. So to almost get to a 120, phenomenal from him. Really great to see him in form. Congratulations, mate. Brody with a 92, just tracking along. English with that 79. Again, super disappointing. Got my hopes up with a nice 100 plus the other week, but again, just didn't look great. But the positive was that Josh Dunkley did, nice hanger. I saw impacted the scoreboard as well, which was nice. So to get a 130 out of him, we certainly know that he can do it. But we looked at his 3-round average, what was it, about 67, I think. So things just haven't been clicking, but finally last week it did, and that was great to make up for, English scores, your McRae scores. But let's be honest, I think everyone's got Josh Dunkley. But another one that I was actually, contemplating, and again, wasn't in this situation, but I was contemplating actually moving him on if I did have the trades in the bank. But certainly glad that I didn't do that. And Cully, as I mentioned, super disappointing. Paddy came through with a 75, Roses with a 52. I suppose it's handy having him playing, because I've got Cully there now as a loop. Hoping I can just do this now. That won't matter too much. Get him on. Hopefully Cogs is back this week. Obviously just have McCartan as cover, if that's the case. So that's how the team's looking anyway. Trades this week, so I haven't actually checked, but I'm pretty sure I'll be able to. Now, this is a question. Do I get rid of Short or do I get rid of Crisp? Alright, so round 13. Let's go back to 13. So 102, 84, 84, 82, 95, 100, 76 and a 74. That's not great, is it? Summary. All right. So, sorry, I can't see. I need to zoom out. That's the issue here. Sorry, guys. All right. So, who's he got coming up? So, Port, Hawthorn, and Essendon. Adelaide Oval, 2 at the G. No, let's have a look at Crispy. I don't trust either of them. I can't stand either of the picks at the moment. All right, so Melbourne, Sydney, Carlton for Crispy. Certainly tougher opposition. Do you know what? I said short the other week. I reckon I'm going to get Crispy out, I think. I reckon I can do it. I've wanted this bloke for a long time. I think I can. Come on. 554. Yes, you little ripper. Complete trade. Jordan Dawson. This bloke's fixture, 2 out of the next 3, is absolutely phenomenal. North and the Eagles, I expect him to absolutely feast. So to get him in over someone like a Short or a Crisp, I think is such a huge advantage for me. So if we get Dawson onto the field now, in the last couple of weeks, so the upgrades that I've done the last couple, so it'll end up being Hewitt to Stewart and then Crisp up to Dawson. So I think they're 2 pretty solid upgrades. It's not going to give me, the advantage to really push for ultra high rank or anything like that. But look, if I can get close to the top 2K from where am I, about 2,500 at the moment, then that'll be a bit of a goal for me. Just the little things like if you get McCartan score over Cullies last week, that's 50 extra points. You go up a lot more in the rankings there because there's not much separating some teams at the moment. So, look, there's a little bit of hope. Captaincy for this week. Where we're looking, so Melbourne against Collingwood early. That's pretty tempting. Who's Zerek got? GWS. Zerek's always tempting. Hawthorn, Took. Wow. Brisbane. Gotta go Dawson as a pod. Maybe something to look at. So, what are we looking like here? Possibly. Wonder what Took's like in Tassie. It's either going to be. It's going to be one of the 3, isn't it? So, it's going to be out of Zeret, Oliver, and Miller. One of the 3 I've got to use, I think. And I like all of the matchups pretty much. Collingwood against Melbourne. What does Collingwood do? Hawthorn. Would they go to Took? Who goes to him? I don't think so. Oh, does McGuinness go to him? Do you know what? Yeah, just say McGuinness goes to him. Does anyone go to Zeret? He's been in ripping form. Maybe this week I'll just keep that. Oliver into Zeret. I don't know who else McGuinness is going to go to. If it's not Took, then who else is it going to be? Anderson. Who they have coming off the halfback? No one too damaging. Yeah, so I'll probably do that as my captaincy lip. I think Oliver into Zeret, and then I can use Cully. Yeah, that's fine. I'll use Cully somewhere, I think, depending on what happens. So if Cogs is out, then McCartan obviously covers there. When's he playing? Again, one of the earlier games, which is a little bit frustrating. But you'll see what happens there. So get the emergency off Dirksen, onto D'Ambrosio. And that's it for the review, I think, this week, guys. So, as I said before, hope all is well. Take care. The stocky will be out this week. Again, I'm going to shorten things. I'm not going to go through every single play because lots of us now don't have any trades at all. I'll have one in the bank, which is a little bit risky. But the move this week, the potential extra points on offer, going from someone like a Crisp to a Dawson, I think certainly worth it. I've played it way too safe, I think, this season. So, time to give this a bit of a crack. I'm going to still save one in the bank just for a rainy day. I'm sure I'll have an injury to a premium that I'll just use the trade on. May even save it to the grand final or prelim league finals. We'll see how we go. But yeah, that's it for me for now, guys. Hope all is well. I'll see you in the next one. Cheers, bye.